Fear is really interesting. This was actually the very first question that I ever asked Pujya Swamiji 25 years ago, was, how do I get rid of fear? And he said to me, you fear because you don't trust. And that made perfect sense. Obviously, if we trust, we don't fear. We fear where there isn't trust. Whether it's lack of trust in the universe, in God, in ourselves, whatever it may be. Where there's trust, there isn't fear. Where there's fear, there isn't trust. And he taught me how to let go of that story in me, my experiences, that had led to me not trusting. And on a broad level for everyone, that's what generates and creates our fear, is that we've got some reason to believe that we can't trust. That the universe isn't trustworthy, God isn't trustworthy, or our loved ones aren't trustworthy, or we're not trustworthy, we're not smart enough or capable enough. And so we fear. Kya hoga? The antidote to fear is faith. Because when I have faith, then I don't fear. Then it's like the children in mother's arms. I remember when I was very, very young, maybe 2 or 3, I was with my mother at a gas station, and she was filling up the car with gas, and this was in Los Angeles, and suddenly we heard gunshots. And there was some kind of shootout happening right outside on the sidewalk from the gas station. And she immediately grabbed me in her arms, and we ran toward the building of the gas station. And it's so interesting because I had no fear. None. Zero. Like, everybody was afraid. I heard the shots. But because I was in my mom's arms, there was no fear at all. Like, guns, okay, well, I'm in my mother's arms. Everything's going to be fine. That faith is the only antidote to fear. But what's important to remember is that there's no scripture, there's no mantra, there's no teaching by God anywhere in which God says, have faith in me, come to me, surrender to me, and I promise that you'll never get sick or die, that no one you love will get sick or die. I promise you'll never get fired from your job. I promise you'll never get divorced. I promise your children will always get into the best universities and get the best job. God never promises us that. There's no assurance at all that what we want will happen. But the assurance that we're given is, whatever happens, you are with me, right? It's like that beautiful story of footprints, of the man who wakes up in the night from this dream, and he calls out to God. He says, God, I had this horrible dream. I dreamt that I was looking out over my whole life as footprints in the sand on the beach. And throughout my life, there were always 2 sets of footprints, yours and mine. Yours, God, mine. Together you walked with me. But God, I saw that in the times of my life when I was suffering the most, when I really, really needed you the most, it was those times that you abandoned me. It was those times there was only 1 set of footprints in the sand. God, how could you leave me in those times that I needed you the most? And God says to the man, my dear child, there was 1 set of footprints because it was those times that I carried you. And that faith, that's the only antidote to fear. It's to realize that we have no control. over the outer world. People will get sick and die. We eventually will get sick and die. Stock market will go up and down. Natural disasters will happen. The nature of nature is unpredictable. And if we try to assuage our fears by micromanaging our world, all we do is create stress. And so the only solution is to actually have faith in the divine and to know that whatever happens, we're being carried, we're being held in the arms of the divine.